What's good, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video. It's been a while, and in today's video, I'm not sure what the title of this video is, but I'm pretty sure I mentioned the word recession in there. I do want to say beforehand, obviously we're not really in an official recession, but the economy is at a really bad state right now, and at least in the US. I mean, I say at least in the US. I know it's like this pretty much everywhere in the world right now, but especially in the US, that's kind of how it is at the moment. Like I said, I know we're not in an official recession, but kind of just put that in the title of the video just because I didn't know what else to title it. But with that being said, of course, we're going to be talking about peak season 2022, and is this kind of like current economic climate that we're in going to completely kill off peak? Are we going to have a peak season? Before we do get started with the video, I do want to say I cannot give a for sure yes or no. So if you're clicking on this video expecting me to know the answers like, oh yes, peak season is dead, it is not happening this year, there is no way we're going on with peak season, it's going to get canceled and all of our MET is going to get canceled. If you're expecting a straight up yes or no answer, unfortunately I cannot give that to you, but I can give my thoughts and opinions on it, especially from an employee who's worked through two peak seasons already. This is going to be my third one. Obviously, I've been at Amazon for 2.5 years now, almost 2.5 years. So I have a little bit more experience with this, and I'll kind of go into what I think and what my opinions are on this. So the economy has been terrible in the United States this entire year of 2022. Everyone knows that. If you live in the United States, you know it. It's probably impacted you. It's definitely impacted me, especially with gas prices and grocery prices. It's impacted most people throughout the US, especially middle class people like us who are just working at Amazon and are just collecting our checks from Amazon or whatever else you do. Maybe you do Uber Eats on the side. If you're doing something on the side, you especially know that it has hit us more than usual and you're having to do more than just Amazon. But like I said, it's been harder for all of us, and if it's been hard for you, I'm sorry about that. Like I said, it's been a little bit harder for me as well, but it's been difficult. And with that being said, we saw Prime Week this year pretty much flop. I'm not surprised. Prime Week is usually not that well, but for my side specifically, Prime Week didn't do as bad as it did last year, I don't think, if I can remember correctly. But it also didn't do amazing. It also, because Prime Week is supposed to be peak 2.0 and it's supposed to be just 1 week of peak pretty much. It was not that. It definitely wasn't that. It was nowhere near as busy as peak usually is. And overall, Prime Week for most other sites, from what I've heard, especially from people in my Discord, join my Discord if you haven't, link in the description down below. But people there specifically said as well that Prime Week was completely dead for them and that they offered out VTO. A lot of the MET got canceled. I think if I can remember correctly, there wasn't even any MET at all at my site for Prime Week, so we didn't even have MET. It was pretty much dead, especially at other sites. It was completely dead. Prime Week was non-existent. So that was already a bad start to this year from Amazon. And pretty much ever since like January, February time, especially February, most sites, I know that this has been happening at most sites, especially mine as well. Since February onwards, even into the middle of November, a lot of us have been having so much VTO. There has been VTO throughout the entire year starting in February. There has been so much VTO, like it's crazy. I know a lot of sites overhired, and that's a lot of the responsibility as to why there's a lot of VTO, but even the sites that didn't overhire, we're still getting a lot of VTO. And like I said, this has been going on throughout the entire year because Amazon just hasn't had that many business needs. Like, it's been very slow compared to previous years. And on top of that, a lot of you remember I made videos about this earlier on in the year as well. When a lot of sites were getting that VTO, they ended up laying off a lot of white badges too. A lot of seasonal white badge employees got laid off. Usually Amazon keeps their white badge employees and turns them into permanent blue badge employees. I can't talk, but usually that's what happens. But this year it didn't happen for a lot of people. They ended up getting laid off. A lot of people ended up losing their jobs at Amazon. And I remember even having to make a video about how this job is no longer considered secure. And I do think that some blue badges got laid off as well. I don't remember for sure, so I'm not going to say for sure that happened. But if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that did happen. So really slow Prime Week and a lot of layoffs early on in the year. And then a lot of you will know this as well. I didn't make any videos on this, but recently Prime Week 2.0 happened. So they had a second Prime Week this year, which I've never seen before. I'm pretty sure this is just because they've been struggling a little bit financially throughout the year. So they want to make some more money and, do some sales and try to get business up and get people buying from Amazon again. So they did a Prime Week 2.0. I think that was in October. It's November, so I'm pretty sure that was in October. It was either in September or October. I can't remember. They didn't do any MET for my inbound shift, so it didn't matter to me anyway. But yeah, they had a Prime Week 2.0 this year, and that flopped even harder than Prime Week 1.0. The promotion was really bad for it, to be fair, but even outside of the promotion, all the deals that were going on and all that, it flopped extremely hard. Like, Prime Week 2.0 was a complete failure for Amazon. I don't know any site that actually had any uprise in business. Now, there was some MET called at a lot of sites, but almost like all of that MET was canceled. And again, my site, they had MET for outbound. I'm not sure if that was canceled, but I know the MET for inbound was never even called to begin with. And there was no rise in business during Prime Week 2.0. I don't think I saw any difference at all. It's been slow. It has picked up in the last couple of months, especially compared to earlier this year, like February all the way to like July or even August. I would say around February to August, it was extremely, extremely slow on my site. Like I said, VTO every day. There was no work a lot of the times. I would just come in and sit down and do nothing a lot of the times. There was days where we literally get paid to just sit down. Happened a lot this year. And like we all know this, Amazon has been struggling this year, especially in compared to previous years. It has picked up a little bit on my site recently, but that brings it on to the fact that it's like November already, and they were releasing VTO just 2 weeks ago at my site. There was early in November, there was VTO being released. This pretty much has never happened from the time that I've been working at Amazon. Once November hits, that's usually when Amazon starts to get busy. Now, not all the time will they release MET early in November, but it's happened where there's been MET maybe, or at least a lot of VET throughout the middle and the end of November, and of course MET towards the end of November. But this year, it just doesn't seem the same as it was last year, at least not in this early November period. I'm filming this on November 14th, so it is the middle of November now, but like I said, early November wasn't as busy as usual, and I have some friends in my Discord whose sites are releasing a lot of VTO as well. If you're at PDX9, I believe it is, I know you guys are drowning in VTO right now like crazy, so it's really slow there. Shouts out to PDX9, it's crazy slow there. But just overall, like this year, there's something about Amazon this year that it just seems like will peak happen. And I've seen this discussion all over Reddit. I've heard people talking about this at work, and it's been a hot topic of discussion in my Discord as well. And even in my comments, I think that people have been talking about it. A lot of people are wondering, a lot of people are asking other Amazon employees and just kind of speculating, do you guys think peak season is going to be busy this year? Comment down below if you guys think that peak season is going to be busy this year, or if you think it's not going to be busy at all. From what I've read on Reddit, the general consensus is a lot of people are saying, I don't think it's going to be busy, especially on Reddit. I've seen a lot of posts about this on Reddit, like, do you guys think it's going to be busy this year? A lot of people on Reddit are pretty certain that it's not going to be busy at all, and that all of our MET is going to get canceled, and it's going to be extremely slow. That's just the opinion that I've heard. The general consensus, like I said, is that everyone thinks that it's going to, not everyone, but a lot of people on Reddit at least think that it's going to be extremely slow. Now, I've asked some people, or we've talked about this in my Discord as well, and a lot of people kind of think the same thing, but there's also people who are on the fence about it, and that's where my opinion comes in. I'll give my opinion now. Do I think peak will be busy this year? So it's weird because realistically, going by like the economy right now, a lot of people are struggling. A lot of people cannot afford to buy Christmas presents. A lot of people are going to be opting out of that completely right now. They need to pay their rent, or they need to pay their bills, and unfortunately, or even their groceries or gas bills, or like gas prices, all that stuff. Unfortunately, a lot of people can't afford to just spend money on Amazon this year, which is why it's been slow to begin with. And I think because of that, it would lead me to believe that it won't be busy this year. That's what it would initially lead me to believe. But on the other hand, I just cannot see a peak season, especially during December, where it's not busy. I just can't. I can't physically see how it's possible that Amazon will not be packed and extremely, extremely busy. Now, I almost filmed this video. I think I almost filmed it 2 weeks ago. I ended up having troubles and I couldn't film it. I almost filmed it last week. I ended up getting sick and I wasn't able to film it last week. Finally able to film it now. If I would have filmed this 2 weeks ago, I would have probably said, I don't think it's going to be busy. Now my opinions have changed. And the reason my opinions have changed is because my site has already released the peak schedule for 2022. I have my schedule for the rest of the year, all the way from the day after Thanksgiving all the way until the week of Christmas Day itself. And I've seen my schedule. I see what days I have off. I see what time I'm getting off already. I'm working 55-hour weeks for several weeks on end. And the fact that my site is so confident, basically, that we're going to be working these MBT days to the point where they had to release the schedule already. And on top of that, my site has also, starting last week, my site has been getting a lot of VET every single day. We've been getting a ton of VET. I think because of that, that's now led me to believe, I'm glad I waited to film this video, because that's now led me to believe that, yeah, I think peak is going to be busy this year. Unfortunately, that's just how I think it's going to be, or fortunately, depending on how you see it. Initially, like I said, I couldn't see it being busy because of how the economy's been and how Amazon's been throughout the rest of this year in general. On the other hand, I was thinking, but it's peak season. How could it not be busy? But with the VET we've been getting lately, at least at my site, like I said, I just can't see it being possible where it's not busy. I will say, though, I do think that there's a good chance that it will not be the same busy as peaks before. I don't think the MBT is going to get canceled, at least not every single week MBT is going to get canceled. But I do think that the volume of work is going to be just slightly less than previous peaks, especially compared to 2021. I think the volume will be slightly less. So we might be having a slight amount of less work. And again, like I said, this is just my opinion. And this also will differ between sites. Like PDX9, peak might just be completely dead. But I think for my site here in Houston, I do think that it will be a little bit busy. Like I said, just not as busy as previous years, but it'll still be busy enough to where we're getting MET, and maybe we'll get like an hour canceled off of our shifts because we're supposed to be working 11-hour days as opposed to 10s. Maybe we'll be able to work 10-hour shifts instead of 11s. But I can't physically see a peak season where it is not extremely busy. I don't know why. I just can't imagine that, and I can't fathom that possibility. Again, like I said, the state of the economy, it's very possible that that could happen, but I just don't see it happening. And like with the VET that's been getting handed out at my site and also another site in Houston as well, I definitely do think that we will be busy this year. So my final verdict on the whole thing is that I think, yes, peak will still be busy. I know a lot of people on Reddit think that it's just going to be completely 100% dead and the peak season basically won't exist. But me personally, just from working here for a few years and looking at it from the outside in or from the inside, I do think that we will be busy and we will have MET and all of that, just not as much as we usually do. But yeah, either way, if it's busy, December is going to be great for all the people out there who pay rent and stuff like that. You all know it's going to be great. We have 5 paychecks in December. We're going to be working 55-hour weeks. We're going to be getting time and a half, maybe double paid time, possibly peak bonuses, but I highly doubt it. We haven't seen those in a few years now, so I highly doubt that. But it's possible. You never know. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below what you think about all this. Do you think peak season is going to be completely dead like a lot of people on Reddit think it is going to be? Or do you think that it's just going to be even busier than usual? Or are you kind of in the middle where I'm at, where you think it might be busy, or you could also see it being slow? Like I said, I'm in the middle, and whatever I say, it's not concrete, it's not facts, it's not like I'm straight up telling you guys it's not going to be busy this year. I'm not saying that, obviously. I just think that there's a potential that it might be a little bit slower than usual, but I do think we'll still have MET and we'll still be working a hectic peak schedule, and there's going to be a lot of VET and all types of things like that. But again, let me know down in the comments below what you think about all of that. And yeah, it's been a while since I filmed a video, guys. Thank you all so much for still subscribing to the channel. Of course, I'm never going to give up. I'm continuing to upload Amazon videos when I can. I've been busy doing a lot lately. If you didn't already know, follow me on Instagram, at Nathan Padilla. I just ran my first ever 5K race recently, which is really cool. I said this in one of my last videos. I took up running. I pretty much became addicted to running now, and my end goal is to run a marathon. So I've ran my first 5K race. I'll post a picture somewhere on the screen, or you can just check it out on my Instagram, again at Nathan Padilla, or the link is in the description. So check that out. I've been posting a lot on my story on Instagram, and just posting a lot on Instagram in general. So if you've been wanting content from me, go ahead and check out Instagram. And yeah, I will have a video out later this week. It's not going to be Amazon related, but it's actually going to be related to the FIFA World Cup 2022, because the World Cup is coming. I'm a huge football fan. Arsenal fan, and I can't wait for the World Cup. But I've rambled enough, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching this one. Catch you guys in the next one. Subscribe down below if you haven't, and leave a like if you did enjoy this video. Catch you all later. Peace.